So this week, we use pretty much every clamp in the workshop. We do a running repair on the repair that we've already done. And we find a new bottle for the linseed oil. So with this one, I didn't really know what to expect. I did a little bit of searching one day on Twitter and come across a tweet from one of the guys at the Cricket podcast. Now, in the video they put up, that looked pretty bad. A huge crack running down the right-hand side of it, but nothing that didn't look unrepairable. So I reached out to Ross and I said, Ross, I reckon I can fix your bat for you. Send it up and I'll see what you can do. So Ross duly obliged and sent his bat up to the workshop. But when I took out the box that Ross sent in, I started to get a little bit worried. Looking at this, that's a massive crack down the bat, and I wasn't too sure whether I'd be able to repair it or not, but I'd give it a good go. Even though we're edging much closer towards the cricket season here in the UK, it's still pretty chilly, so we have to turn the heater on and take off the coat before getting going. Now, that may seem a little bit weird to take off the coat and turn on the heater, but the coat's just way too big to work in. But as you can see here, when we've taken the scuff sheet off, the size of that crack became a little bit more apparent, and I started to get a little bit more worried and thought, I don't know if this is a little bit beyond me. But like with every other repair, we come in and just take all the stuff off that needs taken off before we attack the crack. Taking off that back sticker there wasn't maybe that important, but it just helps get it out of the way. We've come in with the wood glue again, popping that in as much as we can into those cracks. The crack actually goes all the way through the bat. So the scraper that we're using there to apply the glue actually went all the way through. A very, very bad sign. Similar to the video we did with the GM a couple of weeks ago, we used a paste. This kind of acts as a little bit of a filler, but as you'll see later on, and in the intro, didn't quite work how I wanted it to work. I think this is maybe due to the size of the crack. Whereas with the GM video, that crack, though it was big, it wasn't anywhere near as big as this one. But as is with every repair, we come in and we tape up and we clamp up. Got a nice new drawer as well for all these little odd bits and bobs of wood that we use to clamp up. As we mentioned before, it's really important if you are clamping up to clamp up with two bits of wood in place. Even with these newer clamps like the one we've got there, the quick release ones, though they've got a lot more padding on them, it's still important to put that wood in place just to make sure that it doesn't damage the willow underneath. Now we've used a hell of a lot of clamps here, and although that's out of focus, you'll see in the next clip that it was definitely needed. As much pressure from every angle possible was needed to make sure that this bat came out looking its best afterwards. So after we left it for a day to dry, we come in and remove all the clamps again. Now, it was at this point where I started to think that the repair that I'd done, it didn't quite do what I thought it would do. I don't know if maybe I didn't leave the glue long enough to dry, or just because of the sheer quantity, it was never going to dry. But as I was taking this tape off here, I noticed that something just wasn't quite right with the repair that we'd done. Still follow the normal process though. Come in and take the stickers off. Sometimes we can keep the stickers. It just depends on what repair that needs carrying out. With repairs such as rehandles, keeping the stickers is almost impossible. You can keep some of the stickers, but obviously you have a splice taken out of those top stickers. So to me, it just looks a little bit funny. That was the other thing about this bat as well. I'm not 100% sure that Charlie was the one who put this handle in. As you can see from this clip here, the handle is a rather bizarre one with a rather large base. Even though we weren't entirely sure that the repair that we'd sort of carried out was bang on what we wanted it to be, just still following the normal process of coming in and sanding down with like 80 grit to start off. And again, scraping off that excess glue that's been caused by scuff sheets, the glue up overnight, all that sort of stuff. Just get rid of it. It just knackers your sanding pads up. And you can see there that after that glue's been taken off, the sanding is much, much easier. So it was this point here where I started sanding down the edge that things with the repair just didn't seem quite right to me. So as you can see here, I'm kind of pressing down and it's just not really doing the job that I wanted it to do. Again, I don't know if this is just because of the quantity, but as you'll see on the rest of the bat as well, this repair, it looks as though it's been carried out elsewhere. It's a much firmer repair. I don't know the science behind it. I don't know why this happens, but that thinner glue, which is more of a super glue style, seems to create a much stronger, a much harder bond. I don't know why that is. I don't know the science behind it, but it seems to work. My theory first off was that this crack was too big for that sort of repair, but it looks as though a combination of the two techniques of the paste with the wood glue and then the super glue and the sawdust thereafter seems to have worked. It's tricky to know how long repairs like this will last. They could last a whole season, 2-3 seasons, and it go fine. One of the ones that I've done myself in the first video that we ever did, that's still going strong. But sometimes, like everything, they do go. So it's impossible to say really how long repairs like this will last. That kind of runs true for doweling as well. Some people love them, some people hate them. I haven't had too much experience of them going wrong yet, but it's like every repair. Could last you one game, could last you 100. So once we finish off sanding, and again going through the 80 grit, 120 grit, 240 grit, we come in with the 400 sandpaper. With this bat as well, I actually hand sanded at 150 in between the 120 and the 240. I don't know if it's because I was down to my last sanding pad, but the finish on the 120 just wasn't quite what I wanted it to be. I ended up coming in with a 150 and hand sanding that instead. don't really know why I don't do this at the start, but I think it's because when I take the grip off, I notice that the shoulders haven't been done. So I come in and hand sand the shoulders with an 80 grit sandpaper. In the last video I said I'd check what the polish is. I still haven't done that. All I need to know is that it works. Like I say, I think it is beeswax, but for the next video that goes out, I will make sure that I know what it is. So this customer wanted some Fiore stickers on. We have some Charlie French stickers still lying around, so we pop those on for customers if they want stickers. Some customers don't want any stickers at all, and some customers will have some of Charlie's old stickers. My personal favourites of the old ones we've got left is those Firebird stickers you may have seen on Instagram or some of the shorts we've popped on here or on TikTok. I think those are some of the best stickers that Charlie ever did. So once we've finished off the polish, we come in with some linseed oil, just apply a light coating. I've seen a few people ask, how do you put the scuff sheet and the tape on after you've applied the linseed oil? Well, normally we'd recommend to leave the bat for 24 hours before trying to apply a scuff sheet, because with the linseed oil, it just won't stick. However, we really only put a very, very small amount on the face, just to help retain a little bit of moisture underneath the scuff sheet and to stop the bat from drying out. And when we say a little bit, we mean only the slightest amount, just to give it a bit of a covering. Maybe a fingertip's worth. I've started measuring the distance between the top of the edge tape and the bottom of the blade. Now, I don't really like to put the scuff sheet all the way down to the bottom, as I think it gets messed up when you're batting, etc. So if you see there is about ½ an inch gap between the bottom of the scuff sheet and the bottom of the bat. Again, this is just because if your scuff sheet's all the way to the bottom, it just becomes horrible and messy, and though it probably will still happen with this, it's less likely. Plus it means the scuff sheet sticks for longer. Then the worst part of the job is coming in and putting the grip on. I really do need to invest in one of those vacuum grips, pliers that you see on the big boy bat makers' Instagrams, and a lot of them in India use them as well. The amount of grips that I put on in a week is definitely probably worth the investment. So like I say, this was actually from the guys at the Cricket Podcast. Go and check them out. Do some good stuff over there, especially the stuff about the iPel at the moment. Been tuning in. All their social media platforms, YouTube platform, etc. will be linked in the description below. Thanks again for watching. If you've enjoyed it, subscribe. Again, if you're after any tips, any bat repairs, reach out through the website or the Instagram, and we'll be happy to help.